Good morning, everybody. I'm excited to be here. We have a lot to talk about. Let's just get into it. There's just so much to talk about. Let's just dive right in. Good morning, everybody. I hope your coffee's as good as mine. Hell, I hope it's better. Oh, man, that is good. I am telling you, the Lord's juice is pumping through my veins today. Let's do it. Let's do it. Before we start talking about some of the important local news, I want to shout out to our European audience. That if you're religious, you know me, I'm not. But if you are religious and you pray, keep our friends in Europe in mind. They are really facing some serious wildfires right now, all across Europe. They're in the middle of a massive heat wave in southern Europe, and there are wildfires. Let's go to the map. There are wildfires literally across all of southern Europe. I'm talking from Portugal to Turkey. There are wildfires raging everywhere. Sicily, Greece. I'm watching you'll notice the Isle of Chios is highlighted here. There's a situation here on Chios that is really scary. The wildfires have actually pinned people into a resort and is driving them into the sea. Remember what happened with Maui in Hawaii. They just keep our European friends in mind. This is a bad situation. It's shaping up to be the worst wildfire season for Europe. They have wildfires. It's kind of like California. Every year there's going to be a fire in California. Just pretty much every year you're going to have. Well, same thing with Southern Europe. They're used to this, but this year it is particularly bad. Albania has been hit hard. Greece has been hit hard. We've seen Italy hit down in Sicily really hard. Spain is scrambling firefighters right now as we speak. Everybody is calling out to their neighbors for firefighting aircraft to try to get this under control. Let's just, like I said, let's keep them in our thoughts. Let's keep an eye on what's going on there and wish our European friends all the luck in the world here. That being said, we've had several events unfolding at the exact same time. We've got redistricting to talk about here in Texas. There's been some things that have happened there. We've had some great reporting on Maxwell and Epstein coming out of Allison, Gill, and Mueller, she wrote. We've got the slapdash summit is what I'm calling it. We've got some updates there with the slapdash summit. And we've got taco tariff news. So you people choose which direction we go. This is as much your show as it is mine. We do this live for a reason. We're a community here. Which way do y'all want to go first out of those four? You pick it. We'll stick it. Let's go. One more time. We got redistricting. We've got taco tariffs. We've got DC. I forgot to mention that. We've got the DCs. We've got the slapdash summit. We've got Maxwell and we've got one vote for Mueller, she wrote. Let's go that direction first. Let's go with Maxwell and Mueller, she wrote first. This is Allison Gill. Folks, this is Allison Gill. I had the distinct pleasure of meeting Allison Gill in one of my trips to Washington, D.C. She was there on a trip also. She is brilliant. She is funny. She is, more importantly, effective. She is incredible. She is a journalist, folks. She is that former veteran. Well, not a former veteran. She's a veteran from the Air Force. She has gone on to start a media company. She is badass. She really is. Comparing her with what she does to what I do, I've said this over and over again. There are way too many people that do what I do that pretend to be journalists. I am not a journalist. I am a commentator. I analyze what's going on and I talk about it. But what's going on, that doesn't come from me. That comes from journalists. That comes from people that actually get out there and do the legwork. And that is exactly what Allison Gill and Mueller, she wrote, has been doing for the last several weeks over the last several days, over this Ghislaine Maxwell situation with her being moved down here to Bryan. And there's some eerie ties to what happened with Epstein here. But just so you know, folks, let's start with, this is her Blue Sky page. Look, there's a lot of people that do what I do, and they spend all their time saying, pay attention to me. Just pay attention to me. No, that is not what I do here. Folks, I am a man on a mission. My goal is to move the country left. My goal is to move the Democratic Party forward. I am very clear about that. And that is not something, this is not about, hey, pay attention to me. No, I have my goals. They are clear stated. I don't hide them. 100% out in the open. And getting that done means having good people working towards the same goals. Even if it's not their direct goal, even if it's not their stated goal, having people on our side that are effective, getting you good information and in touch with those people serves my goal. And I'm telling you, Allison Gill is one of those people. If you are not following Allison Gill on your social media, again, I tell you every show, this is how you supercharge your social media. Follow these accounts. This is her Blue Sky. She's also on Threads. This is her Blue Sky account, where you can get a link directly to her Substack, where she does this reporting. This is her Substack. I am telling you, folks, you need to be giving her a follow. She is, you want to know where I get my information from? I get it from her and people like her. She's doing an amazing job. This is her Substack. This is her Substack. By all means, give it a follow. You have to. The big news coming out of, if you don't know what Allison Gill's been doing, and Mueller, let me give you a brief. She has been subpoenaing, she's been fighting to get the documentation behind the Maxwell transfer. And she's done it. She's done it. She did an amazing job. And one of the things that is just mind-blowing that is coming out of that is Maxwell's status now. One second. Kathleen Blaze, thank you for being here. Good morning from Livonia, Michigan. Michigan in the house. Metro Detroit has been engulfed in Canadian wildfire smoke for over a year. Appreciate you every live stream. Thank you for all you do. Yeah. Canada's fighting them also, folks. Our Canadian brothers and sisters are fighting them also. Climate change is real. It is happening. It is happening. You know, on that note, let's take a pause and take a quick left turn. Lori Yates, thank you for being here. And we'll come right back to Mueller, she wrote, because it's so incredibly important. But this is also happening as we speak. We have a lot of people in our audience on the East Coast, and a lot of people that are Floridians, Carolinians, Virginians. Folks, pay attention. Pay attention. We no longer have a functioning federal government because Republicans. So yeah, do not wait for FEMA. Do not wait for people to tell you to prepare. This is Tropical Storm Erin. It will hit the East Coast of the United States. It will. It's not going to go into the Gulf. There's a big high pressure zone over the top of Alabama, Mississippi that is batting this. It's going to track north, but if you look at the storm track, our only break we could get is if it makes a hard northward turn before making landfall. Not likely to happen. This thing's probably going to slam into Georgia, South Carolina. Our Savannah people, our Charleston people, all the way up to Virginia, our Norfolk people, please start preparing now. Keep an eye on this because it is going to happen. And the surface temperatures are ungodly high in the Atlantic right now, especially near the coast of America. So it will probably spin up. It's not going to be like a Cat 5. That's not going to happen. It's not going to be one of those devastating Category 4 categories. It will probably be a 1 or a 2 when it makes landfall. But still, that's no freaking joke, people. That is no joke. Please, I love you folks. You're part of the community. Take care of yourself. But back to what we were talking about with Mueller, she wrote. This is a big freaking deal. This is a big freaking deal. This was they just uncovered this. This is on her Substack. Please go read the whole breakdown. It is worth your time. It is worth your time. This is Ghislaine Maxwell's level and custody summary. What dropped my jaw the moment I saw this is, you see that over here where it says out, here on the far right, custody security level minimum. Well, we expected that. They moved her to a minimum level of security, but custody level out. Folks, that means that she will be able to leave the prison. She will be able to go out on work details. That camp sends a lot of work details to places like A&M, where there's tons of young people around. They're going to send a child frickin' predator out into the Bryan area community. That's what Republicans are. And this is eerily familiar. This is just wait for it. V-Man 29397. I will say this, though, when Trump is all said and done, no territories of the U.S. will want to stay. The only new state will be D.C., and we will see several new sovereign nations like Puerto Rico. It's a thought, man. It's a thought, but I got to tell you, Trump is that whole inevitability thing. That was the whole point of the 2025 project, to make them seem powerful and inevitable, and to make the Democrats, to highlight the fact that the Democrats are out of power and can't really do anything. They're paying their click farms to get in and sow discord among our left community. Oh, why aren't the Democrats? Well, they can't. They're the minority. They have no power. Hell, they can't even call a hearing if they want to. They just can't. There's little to nothing they can do in the government. The whole point was to this air of inevitability. And man, that's over. That is over. Everybody is punching Trump in the face. Everybody. They thought they were going to walk in, they were going to roll the global community because we're America and, we're powerful. And it didn't happen. It just didn't happen. And we've got a great example of that coming up here in DC. Just a second, in just a few minutes. Anna, thanks for supporting the show. Thank you. When I read the article that Allison Gill had released there on her Substack, it brought back flashbacks. We did a segment a while back. If you are a long time, if you were here in the beginning, one of the first things we talked about, and I did a piece for Midas Touch on this, was during Trump's first term, his labor secretary had to resign over Epstein. Alex Acosta had to resign over the Epstein dust up the first time in Trump's first term. The reason he had to resign was, folks, Jeffrey Epstein was prosecuted in 2008. Alex Acosta was appointed by George W. Bush to be the U.S. attorney in Florida. He did this. He did this. Let's hold on. Let's pause that for just a second. He made a deal with Epstein. He didn't prosecute him. He made a deal with Epstein so that Epstein could plead out to state charges, reduced state charges, and then put him in the Palm Beach County jail. Not a prison, the Palm Beach County jail. But only at night. See, he was given the same out status. During the day, Jeffrey Epstein, who was, there was an FBI investigation into Epstein at the time. They were looking at him for child rape. They were looking at him for child trafficking. Alex Acosta cut all that off at the knees as the federal prosecutor by letting Epstein plead out to a sweetheart deal that let him sleep at night in a county jail, not a prison. And then during the day, Epstein went to his office and worked. That's what he was doing out and about. Which is eerily similar to what we're seeing with Ghislaine Maxwell. She's been moved to a minimum security camp here in Bryan. She has an out status. She can leave. They're doing it all over again. And what happened with Epstein in 2008? The Broligarch Republican funders, the billionaires, all got protected. We never heard a name. Epstein just shut up until this all blew up and Epstein got prosecuted again, federally this time, under a Democrat. And then he somehow. This is looking way too familiar, folks. This is the exact same thing all over again. Alex Acosta slapped the victims and their families in the face with what he did with Jeffrey Epstein, and Trump is doing it again. And Alex Acosta was rewarded. He was given a job in the Trump administration. He was the labor secretary. We're seeing it all over again. Folks, CNN just did a story that the Epstein thing is apparently dying. Google searches for Epstein are down like 86%. I will never let this go. I will bore you to death every show if I have to. But I will never let this go. These billionaires, it is part of my life's mission now to make sure we get their names. They will be held to account. They will be held to account. I promise you, we will never, ever let this go. Amen, brother. Amen. But that is not all that is happening. We've got redistricting. We've got DC. Let's talk about what y'all want to talk about. DC. You want to talk about redistricting? What do y'all want to talk about next? ET and the Repugs talked about Hunter's sweetheart deal when all of this is even worse, and it's crickets. They are criminals. Yeah, Hunter Biden we're talking about a gun charge that never gets prosecuted on a gun that he gave away. His sister took it from him. They're screaming he got a sweetheart deal on a charge that nobody gets prosecuted for. When they're sitting here, their U.S. attorney is appointed by Bush, later given a job by Trump, is cutting sweetheart deals to protect child rapists. This is why they're always, everything they constantly project. They constantly accuse the Democrats of. And it's bullshit. It is bullshit. I will never, ever, ever let this go. Ever. Dime Breed Garage in the house. Hey, Paul, is Trump and his sycophants so delusional they don't see making Maxwell comfortable a clear sign of buying her silence, blatantly obvious? They think it won't matter. They've done the political calculus. Their people, they know what they are. They know what Republican voters are. They know there's a difference between you and Republicans. You are not the same people. Folks, if I just misstate a fact, you will email me. You will call me out live on the show right now. You will correct me. Republicans? No. They are looking for their off-ramp on this. They're looking for their excuse. And they have been wiggling back and forth every which way they can. And Trump and the Republicans know this. It was baked into the cake. When they voted for Trump in 2024, they knew he was a convicted felon. They knew his relationship with Trump. They knew every disgusting thing about the man, and they supported him anyways. And Trump knows it. Trump knows it. Their only concern right now is our turnout. That's it. That's it. That's their only calculus in this entire thing. Great question there, my friend. Great question there. A lot of people talking about DC in the comments, so we'll go that route. One second. Peter Campbell in the house. There's always been talk of what Trump must have on the thugs and their willingness to be compliant. Is it the Epstein files rather than Russian compromise? It is the stupidity of the MAGA voter. It is. It is not so much that he's blackmailing hundreds of people in the House and 50 plus senators and judges and everything. No, they don't have blackmail material on all those people. They don't. It is the idiocy of their voter base. It is their immoralness of their voter base. It is the corruption in their voter base. Their voter base are a bunch of bigots. They don't care. And as we talk about DC, we'll amplify on that. We will amplify on that. I have to tell you, folks, in the 2020 election, it is completely undeniable that it was Black women that saved us. If you look at the results from the 2020 election, it is undeniable. The numbers. Black women came out in force. In 2024, it was white men and Hispanic men, and to some degree, Black men, not as much Black men, but mainly Hispanic men and white men that broke our coalition. It was that, and young white men also broke our coalition. But Black women still turned out 100%. They have been working and they have been saving the soul of our country for going on. I'm talking just politically in the election arena. They have been saving the soul of our country for more than a decade now. They have. Just the numbers are undeniable. They're continuing to do so. They are continuing to do so. This just happened in DC. Amy Emanuel, connection between two teen pageants and modeling agency and trafficking of teen girls. Yeah, there's so much there. There is so much there. Tube Kurt, Malcolm Nance posted he thinks DC is set to set a template for 2026 stop the steal type intervention and dim to, that is something that there are folks out there. The minute Trump does anything, oh my God, it's over. It's done. It is. He's Hitler now. It's over. Run! Yeah, every damn time Trump does something, there is a chorus of people that start there. And then there are people that will get trapped into it and go along. And I love Malcolm Nance. I really do. But there are people that they get pulled into that. You will notice when a story breaks, I am never first. I am never, rarely, ever am I the first person you will ever see talking about it. Because I like to see how things shake out. And what's going on here in DC is the absolute opposite of what we were just talking about there. Great, by the way, too, Kurt, great comment, by the way. Great comment. Thanks for bringing that up. Michael Walk, the situation in DC feels like an attempt to goad people into violence rather than an attempt to look tough, but that may be just you in a tempo. No, actually, you are very close to exactly what this is all about. Trump is vulnerable right now. Incredibly vulnerable right now, because that whole image, that air of inevitability, that tough guy image is gone on multiple fronts, from the economy to tariffs to Epstein to everything that's been happening. Trump is in the shitter. This was an attempt to try to flex and claim credit. And well, let's get into it. Let's talk about what happened first, and then we'll talk about everything that is going on. Mouth is dry. 1 second. This is Mayor Muriel Bowser and Chief Pamela Smith. Washington, D.C. has seen, it's just unprecedented what's been happening. The crime rate in Washington, D.C. has plummeted. In modern times, you have never seen such peace and safety in D.C. And who's doing it? These two women. These two women and their teams in the DC police force have been doing it, combined with a national good economy, which always brings lower crime rates. But these two women have a lot to crow about. Donald Trump, not so much. What you're going to see, what this was in part an attempt to do, was for Donald Trump to claim credit for what these two women have gotten done. Donald Trump is going to send National Guard troops into DC and then walk around crowing, and every idiot, lowbrow, moron, MAGA voter is going to respond to this. They're going to do this. They're going to say, oh, look what Trump did. Look at that low crime in DC. Trump did it. It's bullshit. It's bullshit. Muriel Bowser did it. Pamela Smith did it. On top of which, they're trying to poke the bear. They're trying to get people to respond violently. They're trying to instill fear in people, and none of it happened. None of it happened. There were some peaceful protests, but most of the people that walk up to a camera said the exact same thing. This is bullshit. There is no crime wave here. Over and over and over again, the corporate media didn't get the narrative they wanted. Everybody they walked up to and shoved a camera in their face said the exact same thing. This is bullshit. There's no crime wave. I live here. There is no crime wave here. And this blew up in Trump's face because it looked like just an idiotic waste of money, which it was. And Mayor Bowser responded beautifully. See, they had a meeting. They thought this was going to be their big gotcha. We're going to look tough. We got Pam Bondi, we got Kash Patel, and Dork Bongino. All are going to meet with Mayor Muriel Bowser. And Mayor Muriel Bowser said, thanks for the people. I got way too many of my cops doing paperwork, and since your guard troops can't do anything regarding law enforcement, I'll put them to good work doing paperwork and cleanup and all the shit that I don't want my officers doing. Thanks for the people. And Bondi said, what? And Kash Patel said, but the FBI. Let me tell you something. There are no FBI agents. Go find yourself a special agent. I don't care if it's Treasury. I don't care if it's Postal. I don't care who it is. Go find you a special agent and ask them if they think that the FBI agents are going to be doing any street law enforcement in Washington, D.C., and watch them laugh immediately. That ain't happening. Every single FBI agent that they have assigned said the exact same thing. Bullshit. Not in my job description. That's not what I do. Let me tell you how it normally works. If they've got to serve warrants on somebody, like the FBI is going to, Hollywood is terrible. You'll see these shows about the FBI, and they're in flak jackets and they got their guns out and they're kicking doors in with and there's some police behind them and they run in and have a shoot. No, not how that works. Mm-mm. The FBI agents will stay outside. Special agents will stay outside usually. The local police will kick the doors in. The local police will go in, secure the scene, go out and tell the FBI agents waiting outside, all right, it's all good. And then the FBI agents walk in. We'll conduct our investigation now. That's how it works, man. If you think that special agents are going to be walking around engaging in local police law enforcement. I got a bridge to sell you in San Francisco, man. I really do. Cheap, pretty. It's got this orangish red color. It's gorgeous. I'll sell it to you cheap. It's freaking hilarious. Then, boom, the bomb went off. The shoe dropped. They went to Chief Smith. They went to Chief Smith. And they asked her, what are you going to be doing differently now that your forces have been federalized, this, that, and the other? What's the chain of command? And she said, what do you mean chain of command? I report to her and her alone. And you just heard everybody in the White House duck for cover as the fucking ketchup flew. Because that is exactly the truth. Trump controls nothing in D.C. Nothing. Trump controls nothing in D.C. His National Guard troops are going to do paperwork. They're going to stand around for photo ops, but they're not going to do anything but support the police department that has already taken care of business in Washington, D.C. And Trump is going to get credit for shit beyond wasting money, wasting time. Because let me tell you something. Every one of those National Guard troops has a job, and they have a family that they have been pulled away from so they can go file paperwork for the DC police force, so that they can go stand out in the heat of summer for photo ops. They can put some bullshit fake temporary fencing up and stand behind it for a photo op and do nothing. And if you don't think that pisses them off, it pisses their leadership off, it plummets their morale. Same thing with the FBI. Yeah, they are pissed. And we're going to talk about this probably on Sunday's show. There is a storm a brewing in the FBI. There are people resigning. The folks, you can walk in and say, I'm Kash Patel, I'm the boss now. And this, and no. These are brave, competent, intelligent, confident people. You're not gonna walk in and whip these people into doing whatever you want. And they are getting massive pushback in the FBI. They are. This whole air of inevitability is over. And what happened in DC was just one more nail in the coffin. They are not getting the press that they wanted. The corporate media is trying. They're trying desperately. I had to go to a local affiliate to even get a story about this meeting. If you do a search trying to get the Bowser Bondi Kash Patel, the meeting, you can't find it. You can't. You notice this is a local ABC affiliate is where I had to go to get this story. They are not talking about that meeting. What they are doing and how you know it failed. What does Fox and the right-wing media do every time Trump is in trouble? Every single time. They go try to find a black person to blame. They did it in the flooding in Kerrville. They went and tried to blame the police chief in Austin. They go try to find a black person, and then they tell their bigot base, you're better than this person. Look how stupid they are. Look how incompetent they are. DEI. So what did Fox run after all of this shit blew up in their face? This. This is the headline out of Fox. DC police chief ripped for mind-blowing response to basic policing question. Yikes! Remember when I told you they asked her, what's the chain of command? And she asked for clarification on the question because there is no question about the chain of command. And she turned around and she dropped a bomb on him and said, I report to her and her alone. This is how they're trying to spin that. They're trying to say that when she told that reporter to clarify her question, that she just doesn't understand basic policing. She just doesn't get it. Look at that black person in that job that's just incompetent. It's DEI, I tell you. It's DEI. If you had a white hillbilly there, he would know what that question meant. He wouldn't have to ask. That's how you know this blew up in their face, and they are fucking scared of it because they're running home to their racist daddy. They are running home to their racist daddy. They're trying to post that bullshit attacks. Her response was exactly this. Our organizational chart, how we do business, how we fund the police, none of that changed. None of that has changed, which is not the press they wanted. Man, I hope your coffee's as good as mine. Mine is just hitting particularly well today. Particularly well today. I'm telling you, folks, I am seeing a change in the way people are acting, in the way what people are doing, that it's making me sleep better at night. It is. It really is making me sleep better at night. This just happened. Let's go to redistricting here in Texas. I love it. If you haven't seen it, if you're not following Gavin Newsom on social media, I don't know what you're doing. I don't know what you're doing. This was freaking amazing. I hope you folks saw this. Gavin Newsom sent a letter to Trump and told him, you will withdraw your demand for redistricting in Texas by yesterday. He gave him a deadline, or I will move forward with redistricting in California. So yesterday, when Trump didn't meet his deadline and didn't respond to Governor Newsom because he had fuck all he could possibly respond to that with, Gavin Newsom put out he did it. He mocked Trump mercilessly because, one, he announced it on social media just like Trump. His post was in all caps, just like Trump, in the same type of verbiage that Trump uses, mocking Trump. And he announced, it's on, bitch. It's on. We're no longer waiting for the trigger here in Texas. It's on. They're taking steps. There will be a vote in California to eliminate the nonpartisan redistricting board. They will put it back in the hands of the legislature, and they will redraw the maps in California. And I love it. I have to tell you, folks, it almost chokes me up a little bit. It really does. I have fought. This is what I do. This is what I do. This is what I have been doing for years. Changing the way Democrats talk, changing the way they fight, getting rid of that double standard that has tied our hands behind our back. We sit here and we in blue states set up nonpartisan redistricting boards that put together nonpartisan maps, and we fight it out based on our ideas, our policies, and meanwhile, the Republicans in their states of Ohio and Florida and Texas, they just do partisan redistricting. They gerrymander the fuck out of their maps. And I've been looking at that for years saying, what are we doing? And I would get pushback. I would get when I first started this, it was not something that was comfortable for people. Hell, they were upset that I was saying, fuck Trump. That was actually bothering people that I was saying that, but it is what it is. It is what it is. 1 second. I got to catch up with somebody here. I got to find a comment. I missed it, and I'm sorry. Please be patient with me. Oh, yeah. Jordan, yeah, there's a couple comments I'm going to read real quick. Stick with me, folks. Jordan here's got a great one. It was fun. It is funny that MAGA morons still think Nancy Pelosi was in charge of the National Guard on January 6th when Trump is calling out the National Guard now. Yeah. A lot of people are pointing that out, and it is just fantastic. Fantastic. I am loving seeing people call the hypocrisy out. 100%. Lori, I can't find your comment. You're always here. Lori Yates says, thanks for bringing the truth. We appreciate it. Now, I appreciate you, and thank you for supporting the show. $20 is a lot of money. I'm very grateful. Omniscient Sphinx. I have an FBI friend in my D&D group, and when I ask him, he looks at me like I have lost my mind. Yeah, they are not a happy bunch of people. I found it. There you go. Lori, thank you for being here, Lori. I appreciate you. Thank you for supporting the show. I'm very grateful. But yeah, folks, this is not going the way they'd hoped. This is collapsing much faster than they thought it was going to. The 2025 project is over. Stop coddling stupid. California is tearing Trump up in court over deployment in LA. They are. I got that. Thank you. BB Areola Owen. Everything happening is such bullshit that Maxwell woman is either going to walk off her job and disappear, or she's going to be offed by someone. It's going to happen, maybe not right away. Yeah, I know. That's what I say. I am never letting this go. I am never letting this go. 100%. We will talk about Epstein forever on this show until those names are released. It is never going away. But back to the redistricting. There's a reason Gavin Newsom isn't waiting. There is a reason, folks. And it is what I told you. When this first happened, people asked me the very blunt question, can the Democrats stop this? And I won't lie to you. I said, no, they can't. They can't. You know me, I've been very proud of them. I've been very proud of what they've done with the walkout, denying them a quorum. I've been very proud of what the Democrats have done. This was not free. This came at great personal expense. These people don't make a lot of, they make almost nothing. $7,000 is their paycheck for doing this. They have to hold jobs to support their families. They're not professional legislators. They're not. They have to hold a job. And when they broke quorum and left the state, they left their job. They left their families. The reason I've been telling you this so loudly is that you understand they cannot do this forever. Yes, they're going to deny them their quorum. They're going to stop it this time around. They are. Mike Daly, appreciate you. But elections have consequences. This is why I'm begging you all the time to please get involved with your local Democratic Party so that you can get after these local elections and build from there, because that is the foundation in which a national takeover is based. It's all based locally, and you can win those local elections. They're usually decided with just a handful of votes. And this is why. This is why Gavin Newsom's moving forward, and why I told you in the beginning, no, the Democrats can't stop this. They can't. Elections matter. Republicans have control. And this is what it looks like. Abbott is going to immediately call another session. He doesn't give a damn about the budget. He doesn't give a damn how much money he's wasting. He doesn't care. He's going to get his gerrymandered map. Trump told him to. The base wants it because they're immoral. They don't mind cheating. They don't mind denying you of your representation. They don't care that the people in these Democrats' districts voted for them and wanted them. They don't care about that. All they care about is their power. You are not the same, people. We're going to do a show. I've got Dr. Rachel Bidecoffer has agreed to come on the show and talk about this very point. You are not the same. These people are fucking immoral. And yeah, this is what Greg Abbott is going to do. Jordan, I still think Gavin Newsom should remove Republican voting places to one voting place per. Yeah. Do to Republicans what they do to us. Cecile Kazemi, thank you for always being here. Another one of the foundational members of the show that's always here. With Trump, it's always do as I say, not what I do. By the way, what do you think about Paxton wanting? We're getting there. I love that you people are always ahead of the show. What do I think about Paxton wanting to jail Beto? We're about to talk about that. I love that you people are always ahead of, so informed. Vincent, you are not the same. MAGA have no fucking clue what's going on. All they care about is their hate, their bigotry, and some little bullshit gotcha talking point that they got told by Alex Jones that's made up bullshit. You people know what is going on. You are not the same. Vincent, thank you for being here. Thank you for being here. And I got to tell you, it's tough doing my job. I wish I could be a right-wing commentator and have that. I can say whatever the fuck I want and nobody questions it. That would be easy, man. That would be easy. Doing what I do is not easy. Oh, man, because you people are informed. I can't say stupid shit. Kenyon says, bye-bye Miami Rice, Trump's boy Doug LaMalfa and CD1. Oh. Forgive me for slurping into the mic there. I'm sorry. Just got a fresh cup of coffee. It is delicious, too. I really hope your coffee's as good as mine, folks. All right, hell, I hope it's better, but I hope it's at least as good as mine. Colleen Sarah, Trump also claimed that he once offered someone else 10,000 troops in his disastrous press conference the other day. The silence of the press yeah. Same press conference where he said he was going to Russia twice. But yeah, in case you don't remember, this is Ken Walleye Paxton. Let me tell you something. If Ken Paxton had stopped at just going after the group funding Beto O'Rourke's group, if he'd just gone after their funding and tried to interrupt their funding, that would have been extreme partisan fighting. It would have been out on the edge, but it would have been still within the realm of partisan fighting. It would have been a Republican fighting a Democrat, going after their funding. That is the edge of the edge. That is something that used to be considered across the line to do that, but it was still within the realm. But he didn't stop there. Lori Stone, keep up your good work today. Thank you. I appreciate it. This is Judge Megan Fahey. Ken Paxton sued Beto O'Rourke tried to prevent them from funding the Democrats because, yeah, I mean, you're talking hotel costs on $7,000 a year. You got to pay for hotels. You got to pay for food. You got to pay for everything. They can't afford this. So Beto O'Rourke and his group were fundraising to help pay for the hotels, pay for the travel. It was Beto O'Rourke that paid for the plane trip to get these Democrats out of town. His group did the fundraising. Ken Paxton was trying to stop that. So he went judge shopping because you can't do it on legitimate legal means. He went judge shopping. He went looking for a judge that would order them to stop funding while this case worked itself out, that would issue the injunctions that Ken Paxton wanted. He went judge shopping. There's no reason that this court case would be heard in Tarrant County. For you folks not in Texas, Tarrant County is Fort Worth. Tarrant County is a red bastion. We've got some people on the show from Tarrant County that live in Fort Worth. And they will tell you you've got some blatantly gross, hyper-partisan, don't give a fuck about the law Republicans in Tarrant County. If you want to know why Ken Paxton took this case to Judge Megan Fahey, maybe this will answer your question. This is Judge Megan Fahey. I don't know about you, but I took one look at that picture and I completely understood why she would be more than willing to issue any injunction that Ken Paxton wanted and do just about anything Ken Paxton wanted. Lincoln, thank you for being here, man. New supporter. Glad to see you. Mark this post for the future. Trump is getting 25th. Pro forma sessions in the Senate to block recess appointments are a hint of what's coming. His weakness will be his undoing. And this upcoming summit may very well be the tipping point where J.D. Vance makes his move. Watch. Silly Bebo. Ken Paxton sucks for what he's been doing to Robert Robertson, who deserves a new trial, not an execution date. Yeah. There is no law here in Texas when it comes to Republican judges. They don't. It is party first. Anything becomes even a whiff political, fuck the law. They don't care. That's why I keep telling people about local elections. Local elections are everything. So he went judge shopping. He got Judge Fahey to enter, and she did. She went ahead and ordered an injunction against Beto O'Rourke and his people. Beto O'Rourke gave a speech that said, "There's no law here. This is bullshit. There's no umpire enforcing the rules. So we're just going to do what we have to do." And when he said that, Ken Paxton asked Judge Fahey to jail Beto O'Rourke for defying her order, which is absolutely fucking laughable, given the fact the way Republicans have acted towards Judge Chutkan, towards Judge Boasberg, case after case after case after case. You have Republicans absolutely refusing to follow orders. The immigration cases, they've thumbed their noses at the DOJ. You have Ken Paxton being the hypocritical piece of shit that he is, asking Judge Fahey to jail Beto O'Rourke. And Judge Fahey went, no, I don't want to do that. No, I don't want to do that. Too far. And that's where he crossed the line. It left political combat into real combat. When you start jailing our leaders over bullshit, I'm not talking about like that piece of shit up in New Jersey that was, straight up bribing, blackmailing people and demanding bribes and shit like that. Somebody breaks the law and does that shit, jail them. Any Democrats on the Epstein list, we'll lock them up for you. That's not what I'm talking about. This is crossing a line. This frees me to scream that our next attorney general will have no lines. This frees me to treat you this way. And I'm not a high road Democrat. I fucking will. I will demand it. I will demand it of every person I back. You have your bullshit demands, your pledges that you make your candidate sign. My pledge will be really simple. You fuck every Republican every fucking way possible. Fair, unfair, legal, illegal. You have no fucking lines. That's my pledge. Because Ken Paxton, you crossed a fucking line. If it had just been about the funding, that would have been a political maneuver. That would have been a political fight. When you tried to throw the man in jail, you made it personal. You made it an abuse of your power. And I'm not a high road Democrat. I don't want to be better than you. I want to be worse than you. And you just gave me permission to do it. All right, got that taken care of. Thank you. Oregon Wine Lady, have you seen the locals' comments about Shady Pants in the Cotswolds, UK? Priceless. Their cussing is next level. If you don't know what Oregon Wine Lady's talking about here, JD Vance was on vacation again. He's been on vacation every month. Every month. Yeah, there was no audio because I was saying something that I didn't want you to hear. That was intentional. Getting something taken care of. Yeah, JD Vance went to the Cotswolds in the UK. And to my friends in the UK, please don't get upset at me for saying this. Please don't get upset at me for saying it. For you folks that don't know, the Cotswolds, that's kind of like the Hamptons here. It's where the really freaking rich go to buy a little bit of property. It's the best, Martha's Vineyard, the Hamptons. This is the kind of thing, the most that I can, the best comparison I can give you. But I really don't understand why. When somebody hears the Cotswolds, I'm thinking that sounds like some disease that affects the testicles. He's got an advanced case of the Cotswolds. I mean, that name just does not strike that image in my mind. It is an incredibly nice place. It really is. It is where the Beckhams bought property in an estate in the Cotswolds. So yeah, that's what that is. Uh, it is a really nice place, but the name has always just blown my mind. The Cotswolds. To me, it always sounded like he's got a bad case of the Cotswolds. I don't know if they do they have an antibiotics that will cure the Cotswolds? I mean, oh my God. But it is. Don't get me wrong. I'm not insulting the place at all. It's just the name to American ears is all I'm talking about. To American ears, the Cotswolds sound like, I don't know, advanced case of the beer nuts or whatever, that old joke, But anyways, yeah. Shady Vance went on vacation again and ended up in, of course, the Cotswolds. Why the Cotswolds? Because the Brexit people, all of those people live in the Cotswolds. Yeah. The ultra right wing of the UK, they live in places like the Cotswolds. That's why he ended up there. Every time this guy goes on vacation, it's just a freaking nightmare. This is why people are, I'll tell you, JD Vance scares the shit out of me in one respect, in that he's not Trump. Trump is a freaking grifter. Trump is a con man. Everything at the end of the day has to be what Trump gets. Over here, very different. Very different. JD Vance is a believer. He believes in this new corporate CEO presidency that is a dictatorship, that he believes all of that. But one very bright aspect of this is JD Vance has all the appeal of swamp ass. Yeah. When the Grim Reaper and Trump dies of old age, or he just straight out mind goes to putting to the point where he drools on himself in public and they can't use him anymore to trot him out in public to say a few stupid things. When the Grim Reaper finally rids us of Trump, JD Vance can't take over his cult. He can't. He has all the appeal of infected swamp ass. He does. He may be a true believer, but he will never have the following. And that, my folks, is what makes these Republicans follow Trump, is that he has the cult. They don't have to do shit. All they have to do is repeat something Trump said and say, oh, go pay attention to Trump. And Republicans don't have to work. Ever. Their broligarchs write their bills. All they do is they go to their private clubs and eat their steaks and Merlot and none of that. Trump is the best of times for Republicans, and they don't want to fuck that up. As long as Trump's around, they don't have to work. They're not responsible for anything. Occasionally you get the occasional idiot that's stupid enough to walk out to a microphone and hang himself, but that's it, folks. That's the reality of it. JD Vance will not hold the cult. If you talk to anyone that is, a trained psychologist, I've read up on cults because of Tulsi Gabbard, because of several people in there. They all say the same thing. When the cult leader dies, that's it. The cult will persist, but it is massively diminished. Folks, there are still people in Waco that are Branch Davidians. Yeah. David Koresh and the Branch Davidians from Waco? Yeah, that cult still exists, but it's nothing. It's a couple people that get together for Bible study every once in a while. They're nothing anymore. There's no compound. There's no power. There's none of that shit, because there's no one to take the place when the cult leader dies. It never happens. Jeremy Breeden, Vance is about as appealing as a shit sandwich. He was horrible on the campaign trail before the election. Yeah. I say that is the silver lining of JD Vance. Yes, he's fucking terrifying because he really believes in fascism. In his heart and in his soul, he believes in fascism. And I tell you, there are rumors, and I'm not going to jump on this train to where I'm saying that this is a fact, but there are rumors that his marriage is over. That's another problem with JD Vance. That if you think Trump and Melania, these two people that are both driven by self-interest, are a mess, wait till you see what happens with JD and his wife. She's actually somebody. She's actually fucking brilliant. She is. And from what I understand, they hate each other now. All right, let's see. We're gonna run out of time today. Let's get to talking. Let's talk about the Slapdash Summit. I'm sorry if I slurped again. Damn, this is a new pot of coffee. This is something different. Hey, honey, if you could, what are we running with now? That's good stuff, man. That's good stuff. That's what I'm trying to find out. Lynn. I'm trying to find out. That is good stuff, man. Yeah, the Slapdash Summit. We talked about this a little bit in the last show and how ridiculous this summit is. Trump just decided he's in trouble. I'm gonna hold a summit. So we don't talk about Epstein. No planning, no preparation, no nothing. Oh, this is
it's the dark.
Huh?
It's the dark. We had the medium before. This is the dark.
Yeah. My friend, you remember sending this to me? Thank you. I appreciate it. We just got into the dark roast. That's why I said I hadn't had that before. That's the dark roast. We just opened the dark roast, man. Thank you again for sending that. That's actually really good. That is different. But yeah, the Slapdash Summit. There was no planning. They finally, remember in the last show, I'm like, this is so bad. They don't even have a place lined up yet, much less all of the preparation that they have to do, all the negotiation they have to do. I mean, these things are choreographed out to the nth degree. The handshake, what direction will the motorcade come from, so that when the leader gets out of their car, that the cameras are it's a flattering angle. These things are all have to be hashed out, and none of that has been done. None of it has been done. The political preparation has not been done. Nobody thought about what are we going to get out of this. What are we going to achieve here? Trump just said, I'm Trump. I'm gonna end the war in Ukraine. You watch this. Woo! No. This is humiliating us. They finally established that they're going to do it at Elmendorf. This is Elmendorf Air Force Base in Alaska. Folks, if you ever get a chance to go to Alaska, this is the Kenai Peninsula down here. Beautiful, beautiful. You ever want to do any fishing or anything? That is a great place to go. Or just head up to the Russian River. And there's a Russian River in Alaska. But this is Elmendorf Air Force Base in Anchorage. This is Anchorage. You can see, to give you a reference, y'all may be familiar with Valdez. Remember the Exxon Valdez? It's named after Valdez here. This is where the oil terminals are. This is where the Alaska pipeline terminates, is here in Valdez. Here, and here's Valdez Harbor, where all the mess was made. This is where Anchorage is. To give you an idea, this is come down here, down south. 1 second to just give you a reference. Here's Skagway. I've been to Skagway before also. That was actually very cool going into Skagway. We got to see some seals up there in Skagway. That was pretty cool. But Elmendorf Air Force Base, you get the idea where it is in Alaska. Fairbanks is up here in no man's land. Anchorage. Folks, this is Wednesday. They announced this on Tuesday, which means they didn't have it ironed out. Folks, I just want to stress to you, these summits take months to prepare. The president will be sidelined, and he will prepare for weeks for these summits. They don't riff. They don't. Donald Trump is going to walk into this meeting, one, already pre-humiliated, because both Volodymyr Zelensky and Putin have said ahead of this summit, they ain't giving shit. They are not giving shit. And Zelensky, who is not invited, which it can't be a peace summit if Ukraine's not there. Zelensky is circling the wagons in Europe. He's huddling up with European leaders. He's in Germany right now as we speak. You see him here with Friedrich Merz. They're going to do a presidential Zoom call and have their own summit with Zelensky in Europe. And what's coming out of this meeting is, no, we're not giving up pieces of Ukraine for peace. It's not happening. So Trump has set himself up for immediate failure. And to make it worse, in Russia, they are mocking him, openly mocking him. Russian television is, you have comedians laughing at Donald Trump, talking about, you're not getting shit. Who do you think you are? You think we're going to give you concessions? No, that's not happening. That is not happening. And even the Wall Street Journal, that conservative rag, that Murdoch-owned conservative rag, is pumping out headlines like this. Russia has high hopes for Trump-Putin summit. Peace isn't one of them. No, their high hopes are really simple. Russia is breaking all of our sanctions. They are. China's buying oil. India's buying oil. Donald Trump has told India and China, stop buying their oil or we're going to tariff you and we're going to be really, really mad. And Modi and Xi both had one response. Now, what are you going to do, big guy? Well, Trump tacoed out on the China tariffs. Marcia Klepper says, I'm an Air Force brat. We lived on Elmendorf. Yep. A lot of folks do. A lot of folks that serve in the Air Force, for some reason, rotate in and out of Alaska. They do. I bet there's a lot of people in the. Ask Marcia about Elmendorf and, Peter Campbell, not for nothing. In Russia, they teach that Alaska is still part of Russia. Yeah. Here's the thing. A president is sidelined for weeks ahead of a summit. They hammer into a president all of the issues that Russia will throw at them so that they're ready. They don't commit to anything. They don't say anything stupid. They don't send the wrong signal to the world. Putin is going to be stupid, or I should say, Trump is going to be stupid enough to go off alone with Putin again. And then they're going to hold a press conference, and Putin is going to box Trump in. And Trump is going to say absolutely stupid things. He is. He's already humiliated going in. He's not going to get anything that resembles a peace deal because both parties aren't sitting at the table. It is a failure before it starts. The only thing left to determine is what does Putin get out of Trump? And if you are a nation that really wants to buy Russian oil or Russian natural gas, and you see Donald Trump sit down with Vladimir Putin, and Putin owns him, and Putin bribes him openly, and Trump walks out talking the Russia line, what are you going to do? You're going to say, fuck those sanctions. This summit isn't going to bring peace. It's going to bring another half decade of war. Because Russia's in trouble right now, folks. Their economy is in trouble. If we could keep these sanctions on or stiffen them, Russia would be looking at collapse financially. Instead, Trump's saving him. Trump is saving him. All of those countries in Eastern Europe. You know, you have France and Germany and the UK that are all saying the same thing. We're not going to be under Putin's thumb again. We're not going to be relying on them almost exclusively for natural gas. And that's over. We're not going to make that mistake again. We saw what happened. But if you're Hungary or Slovenia or any number of Eastern European nation, what are you going to do if you're India? You're going to say these sanctions are a fucking joke. I'm going to do what I'm going to do. E.T., the Mad King wants to get his peace prize, and he needs red meat for his base, plus he needs to try to make something of it. Yeah. And to give you an idea of how badly they know they've screwed up, Trump is out there today. I won't post shit from Shit Social, but he is out there today screaming like a gut-shot hog that the corporate media is actually daring to half-ass tell people what's going on here. Vin Kaneko, Trump will invite whoever wins the Peace Prize so he can steal the medal like he stole those soccer awards. No kidding. No kidding. Judith McDonald, I think the real reason for meeting is to discuss what happens when the Epstein files were released. Russia, it's all entangled. You know, folks, Medvedev said openly in a press conference, Israel isn't the only people that have compromat on Trump. I don't even know how to address what we're watching here. I mean, we're literally watching Trump collapse. I mean, he's got pudding for brains. He is mentally gone. He's always been stupid and weak. Even when he was half-assed there, he was stupid and weak. He would run his mouth. Folks, let me tell you something. Never fear the loudest guy in the room. You can see him coming. The biggest badass in a room is very quiet because he knows what he can do. Trump has always been weak. And this, I really believe everybody I've always said this, his base will hang with him. They will. It doesn't matter what he does. It doesn't matter how bad he fucks up in this summit. His base will stick with him. But that's all he will have. He is going to lose independence. He is going to lose those people that are completely politically unaware, that just they don't do politics. They're going to watch this. They're going to watch the president of the United States get completely fucking owned with no other way to spin it. He's not going to get a peace deal. He's going to end up walking out of there talking the Russian line. And those sanctions on Russia are going to collapse. And Putin will be saved. I mean, there's a reason they're celebrating this summit in Moscow. There is no win for Trump here. Skeet Sayre, nothing but desperation. The entire GOP, they thought they could make Mad Magazine real and found out. Yeah, they don't live in reality. All they do is spout bullshit talking points that have no basis in reality. And they just constantly get hit in the face when reality comes around. And then they try to deny what reality is. Here's a perfect example of that. And there are right-wingers. There are right-wing factions in every country. There are. Pablo 01, stationed at Kitsebo, Alaska, Kitsebo Air Station, 28 miles north of the Arctic Circle back in the 80s. Trump will be outclassed by little Putin. He will. He will. Folks, my point is, what that one was, when I was talking about the preparation, smart presidents, people with brains, take weeks to prepare for these. Trump's a fucking moron, and he's doing no preparation. There's only one way this summit ends. Putin will be skipping when he leaves this summit. And folks, if you don't want to believe that Trump's inevitability is over, I give you, this is Karen Keller-Sutter. Our European friends know who she is. This is Karen Keller-Sutter. She is the president and finance minister of Switzerland. She had a meeting with little Marco, where basically she told Marco Rubio to go fuck himself. And Trump had a tantrum. If you followed the last show, we talked about the tariffs on gold that nobody believed it would happen, but Trump was so damn mad he wanted to hit back at Switzerland. Well, this is the reason why. A very intelligent, very strong woman that lives in fucking reality told Marco Rubio, fuck you. You've got nothing on me. Do your worst. Skeet Sayre, I keep telling you, Trump is Krasnov, the best Russian asset. Folks, and you have a right-wing faction in every country, The right-wing faction here watched that meeting, and they came out with headlines like this. The clueless New York Times. Swiss business fear being annihilated by one of the world's highest tariffs. And it goes on to say how bad how bad Karen Keller Sutter standing up to Trump was, and how it was just devastating for Switzerland. And then you had the right wing in Switzerland try to echo the same talking point. Tenacious Swiss leader stood up to Trump. It backfired on her. Karen Keller Sutter admires the grit of former British Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher, and as a Swiss president is known as technocratic and tenacious. Those traits look to have backfired when she faced off with Donald Trump and led her country into crisis. She lives in reality, folks. She knows what's what. She just does. And remember in the last show when I explained to you what happens if those tariffs on gold go into place? It's immediate, instant hyperinflation. It is immediate, instant hyperinflation. Gold is in every microchip. We have microchips in everything you buy. It is immediate hyperinflation. Well, somebody told Trump. Bullion markets breathe sigh of relief after Trump tacos out and says gold will not face tariffs. And there's little to nothing else that Switzerland gives a shit that we don't buy. They sell most of their chocolate in Europe. Everyone from China to Europe to Africa, all across the world, rely on and have relationships with Switzerland to process their gold, and Trump could not do fuck all about it, even though he ran his fat, stupid mouth and disrupted markets yet again. Uncle Fatty, everyone has narcissistic traits. It takes a team to create a real one. Very few will ever become a true narcissist. This is the flood, the zone at work when demands to redraw lines are overshadowed. Well said, sir. Can Trump see Sarah Palin from Anchorage in Russia? I know, right? This is just horrible. Just horrible. Just horrible. Folks, yeah, you've got Trump tacoing out on the Swiss tariffs. You have Trump tacoing out on the China tariffs, because reality is reality. It is what it is. We have seen in the new inflation numbers are much higher than anybody had hoped or expected, because the tariffs aren't even really, they're not 100% in place yet. And we've already seen spikes in inflation. The core inflation rate is 3.1%. Folks, I've told you, they've always want that number to be around 2%. Around 2%. If Trump actually puts these tariffs in place on China, you're going to see that spike to 4 to 5%. Then you really see the economy just you've got people in Wall Street that are watching it happen in slow motion. This is a slow motion car wreck into stagflation. And they know it. They know it. Julia Simpson, Putin wants Alaska back. Trump will probably give Alaska back to Russia. I think we would have a military coup if that happened, to be quite honest with you. Julia, I really do think a lot of people, I understand that sentiment. I really do. I really do. And the fact that Trump is actually stupid enough to actually say that out loud, but we would have a military coup on our hands if he tried to give Alaska back. I really believe we would. And folks, they just keep screwing up. You know, Congress is holding hearings. They're talking about Russia, when they're supposed to be talking about Epstein. And Democrats are doing a great job of pointing out, well, why don't you want to talk to the guy that cut Epstein his deal? Why don't you want testimony from Alex Acosta? Since you're going with Alex Acosta's playbook all over again with Ghislaine Maxwell, the Republicans are like, no, a Bush appointee that cut a pedophile a sweetheart deal so that he could sleep in a county jail and just go to his office during the day? No, we don't want that. Why would we want to talk about anything Epstein related in the Epstein hearings? And the Democrats are doing a great job of hammering this. They really are. The corporate media, they are very much not wanting to kill their golden goose. Skeet Sayre, the CIA would remove Trump if he tried to give Russia Alaska. Yeah, there would be a backlash within the government. He's already, I'm telling you folks, we'll talk about this probably Sunday. There is a backlash going on already within the DOJ and the various aspects of law enforcement. There are special agents all over the government. None of them are happy. You know, they thought this would be freaking Valhalla. It's like all the people that thought all of the deportations would be everybody else's immigrants, but the ones they hire. You've seen it over and over and over again. Yeah, the same thing. Special agents tend to be right-wingers. They thought all of this would bite everybody else in the ass but them. And now they're very unhappy that they're having to take loyalty oaths, that they're having to take. Anyways, we'll talk about it more on Sunday. And then the same stupid fuckers that betrayed us in the last election, young men, are waking up to the fact that Trump is shit for them. He is shit for them. Young men are struggling in a slowing job market, even if they have college degrees. Yeah, this is actually a half-assed, decent article from NBC. Recommend after the show, punch that into Google and take a look at the entire article. This is the key graph right here. This is unemployment men versus women, young men versus young women. Men are the blue, green are the women. Unemployment with bachelor's degrees, fairly low compared to the rest of the labor market in this demographic. Pretty much well on parity, men to women with bachelor's degrees. If you're just talking about all across the spectrum, not just young people, but when you talk about young people coming out of college, young people with bachelor's degrees, that's this second grouping right here. And young men are getting screwed. And they are not happy. They are very, 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 very not happy. I mean, imagine investing all the time, all that money, all that debt, everything, and you can't get a damn job. Suddenly, all the bullshit you were being told, all the misogynist crap about the world revolved around, oh man, the transgender people are going to come get you. They're going to come get you. And then all of a sudden reality hits and you got to get a fucking job. And you can't. That's a really, really great clarifier for people. It's one thing to talk shit when Democrats are running the country and you're comfortable and safe and the economy is humming along. It's another thing to talk shit about people that don't affect your lives at all, or you don't know, when you can't get a damn job. I'm telling you folks, this midterm, we have wind in our sails. All we have to do is not fuck it up. Not allow divisions to be sown. And one of the places that they're really trying hard, the bots have really dug their nails into, because you've got these people that never voted anyways, that never voted for us as Democrats. They've lived off the country that we create and the comfort that it brought them, but they did nothing but bitch about us, giving us no credit for the work that we Democrats do. They're not going to vote for us anyways. They are all in on this Mamdani thing, this conspiracy that somehow Democrats are against Mamdani, and it's bullshit. Overwhelmingly, Democrats are all in on Mamdani. Mondolius, the body language between Trump and Putin is always very telling. Be afraid. Be very afraid. Yeah, Putin is going to own Trump. Spicy gesture. Trump investigating political enemies. Troops doing law enforcement on D.C. streets despite record low crime. Homeland Security promoting ICE on X with which way American man sounds, smells, and feels like fascism. They're trying, but it's failing. It's failing. You got people screaming at ICE agents, calling them cunts on the street. Yeah, that's not what they thought was going to happen. Not what they thought was going to happen. But yeah, this is what's going on in the New York mayor's race right now. Mario Cuomo, there was a lot of things I knew that guy was, which is why I absolutely, the minute he said he was going to try to run, as a Democrat said, do not support that guy. For any fucking reason, do not support that guy. You do not want him. And he got trounced in the Democratic primary. Trounced. People knew. Well, he's desperate. He's losing his ass. He's getting it kicked in. And everything he does just makes it worse. One second. Rent is a big deal in New York. I mean, it is a big deal. Apartment prices, they are a big deal. In New York, despite what these rich oligarch assholes think, they think New York is all them. They do. They don't realize for every one of them, there are thousands and thousands and thousands of working people that keep that place running. And there's always been this war between the oligarchs who want to charge anything they damn well want and treat the Trumps that want to treat their people at like complete shit. And the government that says, no, we need these people. The city can't run without them. They have to live here. They've got to live like everyone else. So there used to be what was called rent control. Now they do what's called rent stabilization, which is where they took rent control and they watered it down. But those words mean something to a New Yorker. Those words mean something to a New Yorker. A New Yorker can tell you the difference between rent controlled and rent stabilized. And Cuomo, first of all, he comes out and says, oh, yeah, man, Zoran Mamdani is taking advantage of rent controls, man. Look at that. He's just another blue blood that is getting over on the system. He's using rent control when that should be for you. And New Yorkers went, excuse me, he doesn't live in a rent-controlled apartment. He lives in a rent-stabilized apartment. And the fact that you don't know the difference and haven't lived in New York for 8 years means you need to sit down and shut the fuck up. That really pissed a lot of people off. It did. But the clueless New York Times has no idea. They think these attacks landed. They thought that they were going to be able to promote them. They ended up looking like gigantic assholes because of the backlash, and it untied Zoran Mamdani's hands. It did. Mario Cuomo, this is what he did. He demanded Zoran Mamdani release his rent application, his lease application, because Zoran Mamdani's parents had to sign as a guarantor. Even though he makes $140,000 a year, he had to have a guarantor in New York. New Yorkers who are actually going to vote in this, yeah, that pissed them off. But the New York Times, which is all about guzzling the Broligarch taint, they thought this was going to work. They thought this was going to upset people. They don't know the people. They don't know what the people are thinking and feeling. And to see somebody like Mario Cuomo get rent control versus rent stabilized wrong really pissed them off. It's one of those nuanced things that somebody down here in Texas, we wouldn't really catch it. We wouldn't know. He could call it rent control. He could call it whatever. But if you're a fucking New Yorker, those words matter. And those issues matter. And they know that, no, Zoran Mamdani making $142,000 a year in New York ain't shit. That's not a lot of money in New York. And when Cuomo's living in an $8,000 a month mansion, shit talking down at Zoran Mamdani, who lives in a $2,000 plus, right above $2,000 apartment. Yeah, that punch didn't land. It didn't. Whoever's advising Cuomo, thank you. Keep doing it. Appreciate you, because he is digging himself into the deepest hole. But then, and I waited to the end of the show to show this, because this ad has music with it. And if I get hit with a copyright violation because of the music, I will have to edit this ad out. I'll show you where to find the ad in case I do have to edit it out. So if you get to this point of the show and all of a sudden it skips, it's because YouTube forced me to edit this ad out. Okay. I may get away with it. I may not, but this is where you can find it. You can go to Blue Sky and you can go to Zoran Mamdani's account, and he has this ad here. This is the ad. Again, if there's a skip right now, I had to take it out for the music.
4 years ago, Andrew Cuomo resigned in disgrace, and you probably know why.
The governor's office kept the nursing home death data secret.
Cuomo aggressively groped an aide.
Inappropriately touched a female state trooper.
Use of state resources for a COVID-19 memoir.
Less well known is what he spent the last 4 years doing, besides getting trounced in the Democratic primary. In 2022, Cuomo started Innovation Strategies, LLC, to represent individuals and corporations in a variety of matters. Definitely not vague. Last year, it raked in more than $500,000. Who paid for Cuomo's services? He refuses to say. But what journalists have been able to piece together is troubling. In April, Bloomberg revealed that Cuomo advised a cryptocurrency exchange based in the Seychelles as it faced federal investigations. Then in May, Politico reported that Cuomo failed to disclose $2.6 million in stock options to the New York City Conflicts of Interest Board. His excuse? The stocks were technically owned by Innovation Strategies, LLC, of which he's the sole proprietor. Finally, in June, the New York Times uncovered that Cuomo had worked with his longtime friend Andrew Farkas on a luxury marina project in Puerto Rico. Farkas' previous partner on luxury marinas in the Caribbean, Jeffrey Epstein.
We had a finance chair like none other, Andrew Farkas.
That's the thing about Andrew Cuomo. Once you think you found out about all of his scandals, you find out about another, and then another, and then probably another. But if my friend, the disgraced former governor of the state of New York, feels that's unfair, Habibi, release your client list.
Yeah. And I do it all the time. I date myself. I will call Andrew Cuomo Mario Cuomo way too many damn times. Mario is Andrew Cuomo's and Chris Cuomo's dad. He was the mayor of New York, and he was, the governor of New York. I do that. Forgive me. We all know I'm talking about Andrew Cuomo. Harvey Linda, the reason the markets don't crash with the tariff crap is because of the AI that is in place. And nobody believes it. everybody knows that Trump is going to taco out. Reality is just reality, and the fact that Trump doesn't want to live in it doesn't change what reality is. JD Mack, can't victims object to the release of Maxwell because they fear for their safety? Who's to say who won't run and find a victim or two in order to harm or harass? Yeah, drop her in the middle of a university. What could happen? Put her back where she belongs in prison. The answer to your question, JD Mack, is no. Who are you going to complain to? Elections matter. When you took power away from Democrats, that's why when you hear somebody shit talking Democrats, I need you to block them. I need you to scream at them. I need you to run them off your social media platform. Because the answer to your question is no. The victims can't complain. They can complain all they want. To who? To who can they complain? Democrats must have power. And those same idiots that told people not to vote, that suppressed the vote in the last election, or voted third party with Jill Stein, or those idiots are the one. Those are the ones that are causing all of this. Run them off your social media platforms. Scream at them. If you want those victims to have somebody to complain to, there have to be Democrats in power to hear those complaints, because Republicans don't care. Yeah, Mario Cuomo. I'm dating myself. I really am. Yeah, Mario Cuomo ran for president against Bill Clinton. Yeah, I mean, in the primaries against Bill Clinton. Yeah. I'm dating myself. I know. I do it all the time when I talk about Andrew Cuomo. I call him Mario. I do it all the time. You have to forgive me, folks. You have to forgive me. It's just that I'm old now. I am old. Actually, I'm not as old as I look. This hat dates me by about 10, 15 years. I'm really not as old as I come off, you know. But yeah, the hat dates me by about 10 years. But I like it. It's mine. I'm going to wear it. Amy Poe, Grump sending troops to Washington says we'll get rid of undesirables, which includes homeless people. He has wiped out every program that would have helped them. Fuck Grump and his cronies. Amen. A lot of those homeless people that he wants to attack in D.C. are veterans. They are veterans. Jordan, stocks are up because Wall Street believes interest rates will be cut next month. Lori Yates, enough is enough. Absolutely. Paul says, saboteur Gill. Yep. Yep. I'm confident because I'm rarely wrong. I don't mean to be arrogant and say that, but I'm rarely wrong. Not always right, but I'm rarely wrong. Yeah, Mom Donnie's just going to clean the floor with Andrew Cuomo. This is exactly why I said I don't give a damn how much money the guy can raise. I don't give a damn how much his connections were. The moment Andrew Cuomo started talking about running, you can go back to the show where I said, do not support that son of a bitch. No matter what, do not support that son of a bitch. We have to nip that in the bud. And people are like, Paul, how can you support Mom Donnie? He hates Jews. No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. That is right-wing bullshit talking points. That is a right-wing bullshit talking point. And if you say it, you're amplifying the Cuomo, the Eric Adams message. But yeah, this is the last thing I've got for you today, folks, and we're going to call it. I know I've gone long. Another 2-hour show, and I'm sorry about that. I appreciate your time. I appreciate you spending your time with me. I'm very grateful. White House calls for comprehensive review of 8 Smithsonian museums. That's what the Nazis did. That's what every fascist, 100% to the T, doesn't matter if you're talking about Pol Pot, doesn't matter if you're talking about Stalin, doesn't matter if you're talking about Hitler and the Nazis, it doesn't matter if you're talking about the radical Islamist governments, they always do that. And Trump's going to try to rewrite history too, but he's going to fail at that also. See, here's the thing, people. People can only be led if they will allow themselves to be led. And there are 330 million people in this country. And only 150 million of them bothered to vote. Even though there's another 80 million or so that are of voting age and qualify. But of those people, the majority don't agree with what this president is doing. And the more radical shit he does, the more support he loses. The 2025 project failed. What's left is a smash and grab operation. They're going to try to take as much as they can. They're going to grift as much as they can. They're going to try to give to their broligarch donors to secure future funding as much as they can. They're going to try to openly cheat in the next election. There are already reports. It's something that I've been keeping an eye on and don't have enough information on to bring into the show, but I will tell you we're going to have a segment on it. They are already reaching out to rural Republican secretaries of state and elections officials trying to get access to voting machines. Yeah, that's going on right now. That is going on right now. And those rural Republican election officials are the reason we know it. Because several of them are screaming, no, you will not even breathe on my voting machines. So yeah, they're going to try to limit the number of voting places. They're going to do everything they do. They're going to try to redistrict. They're going to try to do everything they can to cheat, to limit what is going to happen in 2026. And we can't let them. That's your job. There's no more sideline. There's no more I don't do politics. None of it. And I'm not talking about them. Stop worrying about them. Don't give a shit about them. Don't care what they think, what they feel. So one of them shows up on your social media running his fucking mouth, block them. Get rid of them. They don't matter. All that matters is that you get your ass to the polls, that you say things on social media that encourages other people to get their ass to the polls. We need to stifle this anti-Democratic Party bullshit. I don't give a damn about Chuck Schumer. I don't give a damn about Hakeem Jeffries. I don't. All I know is that in the party that those two guys run, when they run it, the economy's great. And we don't have to worry about our institutions being destroyed and our freedoms going away. Period. Full stop. Enjoy some Texas cities at night.